guys, welcome in. So this is the next Pro Tips routine. And I've got my good friend Kelly, who's also my masseuse.
Sports massage therapist.
That's the one.
Official title.
Masseuse. But yeah, so Kelly massages me and keeps me in tip-top shape, should I say, for my competitions. So obviously it's a great person to get on. Something that we'll delve into deeper in a minute, obviously, but something that I personally like about Kelly is the fact that she understands sport quite well. So for me that helps because within my sport, obviously it's good to know that I've got someone that understands sort of like the angles that we're going at. So Kelly, first of all, obviously we've got a few questions we're going to go through. But where do you work and what do you do, just so everyone knows?
So I work in Shep Shed and I'm a sports massage therapist privately there, as well as working for the athletics team at the university. And I'm also the mobility instructor for the athletics team, as well as being a javelin coach as well.
So she's a busy girl. And would you say, is it more the athletics that's your area that you've done before?
Yeah, so I've been throwing javelins for about 13 years. I'm now officially retired as of a few weeks ago. But yeah, I'm more involved in the athletics side of things with my work, yeah.
Perfect. Okay, so I'll fire into questions then. But how long have you been a therapist?
Well, I did my level 3 course in 2013, so I've been massaging for about 5 years now. When I first did my massaging in 2013, after doing like 2 hours of massage, I couldn't even pick up like a spoon or something. My hands hurt that much. Yeah. But now I can go for about 3 days massaging before I start to feel anything hurting. So yeah, a lot of years.
Many muscles that are in Kelly's hands that we've probably not got. But cool, okay. And what does a week look like for you? The reason we said week, as we spoke before off camera, like a day can be different depending on what it is. So let's say, what does a week look like for you?
So Mondays are my 1 day off a week, and then Tuesdays and Wednesdays I work at the university with the athletics team. So I massage that team as well as doing the mobility. Thursdays, Fridays and Saturday mornings I work privately, and then Saturday afternoons and all of Sunday I do my javelin coaching. So quite a hefty week, but I won't have it any other way, to be honest.
So do you get any social time?
Mondays is good, yeah. So especially with my ducks.
That's the day you go to have your breakfast, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool. And then your previous role then, so I mean obviously you touched into the javelin side of things. What did you used to do like before you was into the whole therapist world? So
I just love sport in general, and when I was a javelin thrower I always asked why I was doing certain exercises, so I was really interested in that. So I kind of delved into the strength and conditioning side of things. So I worked at Power Base Gym in Loughborough as a strength and conditioning coach there,
okay.
As well as being a gym instructor, and I did about 7 jobs a couple of years ago. So I was working in a lot of different fields. I was a first aider for Leicester Tigers, a circuit trainer, and yeah, loads of different jobs, receptionist. But then I kind of realised that my time is really valuable and I should be, spending it on things that I absolutely love. So that's why I decided to go for the sports massage side of things.
Do you feel that helped you find it?
100%, because good. I think when you're younger and you have that free time, I think it's really important to spread yourself and just branch off into those different areas of work. So you'll realise that, I don't quite like that as much as this, and then you can narrow your way down. Good.
Okay. What are the main injuries that you see that you treat often? I'll add in my injuries first of all. No, I went to Kelly a while ago with a bad shoulder, and it stopped me actually pressing and moving forward. In strongman you use your legs as well, so luckily I could still press, but I was holding back a lot, and that fixed me completely. Like what we've done. I've also had a hamstring, which is still coming and going now. I think they're two areas actually that you'd probably agree that are most likely seen for you.
Yeah, my clientele used to be more sporting athletes when I worked at the university, but now I tend to see more mums and dads who, you know, picking up the kids and they've got a 9 till 5 sort of job. So they kind of have a lot of trap issues because obviously they're bent over the desk like this and they're not really aware of the posture. Plantar fasciitis as well, that's quite a big one.
Yeah.
For me, I'm a big advocate of looking after your feet. Like shoes for me are like foot coffins. You know,
foot coffins.
Like, you know, you have a child, and you know when you look at baby's feet, the narrowest part of the foot is the heel, and then it branches out and it's really wide. Like the widest part of the foot is the big toe and the little toe, and all, you know, most shoes they peak to a point like that, and
it's true.
You just think, well, that's not a natural position for our
very
foot.
true, very true.
Yeah, so I get a lot of plantar fasciitis issues because obviously our feet are cramped up in these shoes like that. You know, there's so many joints and muscles in the foot, and you know the bones can't move alongside each other properly. So
and I'm sure I'm right to say if that's a problem, it travels up. So if your feet are in the wrong place, if your feet are suffering, it's only going to go upwards, isn't it?
Bang on. Yeah.
So on the note of that, do you like the Vibrams?
Do you know what? I haven't tried them, but I really want to buy a pair.
Right.
Yeah,
from research,
Vibrams,
do you know much about them? Or?
Yeah, and what's the other one called?
There is another one.
Yeah, barefoot shoes. I've worn minimalist shoes before, and since wearing those, I've had no Achilles issues because I used to have a lot of Achilles issues. Because the sole of my previous shoes were really stiff, and so I couldn't propel off. Yeah. So I am actually looking to buy a pair of those.
Right, we'll re-ask you that question.
Have you?
I've got 2 pairs. I had to wear them in. No, I rate them. I definitely rate them. The only thing that I don't like about it is quite simply because they feel like you've got nothing on. That's the only thing for me. I couldn't do it in strongman because it's just that fear of thinking you're dropping something on your foot, although a normal trainer wouldn't exactly save it, but it's just that behind the head sort of thought of it, I suppose.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. What's your best advice for someone who wants to move better? I know that could be very broad, but just simply, I'll pick you a scenario. We've got someone, like you say, like one of your sort of middle-aged people that just want to move better. They've got kyphosis, they've got this, that and the other, and they just think, how can I just move better?
So the first thing that I'd say is be honest with yourself on what is actually hurting your body. Like, go up your body, you know, start with your feet. Are they hurting? Knees, hips, and just be really honest. Like, so many people will just live with little niggles that are like a 2, 3 out of 10 pain, and they don't realise that they're getting worse and worse and worse.
Yeah.
So yeah, that would be my first step in just being honest. The second thing, if you're actually interested in anatomy and finding out why, just, you know, Google the anatomy of the shoulder. You know, you'll be amazed at how many muscles feed into that you know, glenohumeral joint. And contact a therapist or a personal trainer about it, and they will tell you about your injury or your issue, and should help you to understand that. That's where I go.
Good.
First, yeah.
And that's, I suppose, like, regardless of what the injury is, or regardless of what the problem is, isn't it? Like, I think that's one of the biggest things of where people, and I agree with what you're saying, people just put up with it. You know, like we see day to day, like so many people that are, you know, kyphotic, which the shoulders are sat forward, and they think that's completely normal. It's crazy, isn't it, to think that actually, you know, there's small tweaks we can do and it can make them, you know, much healthier in the long run.
Yeah. With regards to kyphosis, with your shoulders being hunched forward like this, your pec muscle in particular is really, really tight. it connects to a lot of structures around here and then into here. And if you can open out that chest and kind of lengthen that tissue, that will enable you to do so many more things better. So posture, lifting, breathing.
Yeah.
Great minds. All kinds. So
it's the simple things that I suppose again people forget about. Okay, cool. So we obviously spoke prior to this a bit of a bonus nugget for women. So Kelly's a woman and can give us a little bit more about the women's side of things. Now, what we mean by this, I'll let Kelly be the talk in here, but I suppose for me this is really important because a lot of people ask me questions, women ask me questions about on cycle and stuff, like what happens and how they're affected by it. So tell us exactly how are women affected, like when you're looking at lifting and staying fit and stuff like that.
So not a lot of people actually know about their own menstrual cycle and how it affects them. But one key thing for me, being a mobility instructor, is that the release of estrogen halfway through your cycle, and then again towards the end, it can actually make you feel more mobile. So for those anatomy lovers out there, the muscle spindle and the Golgi tendon, so they moderate the stretch and the tension of the muscle and prevent you from overstretching. Those two things can be inhibited a little bit more towards the end of your cycle. So actually, you will feel a bit more mobile and more flexible. Another thing to note is that with the estrogen, again, release, it can actually affect your postural muscles, so in your back, in your jaw, calf, for example. So sometimes if people are just simply reaching for something, they'll pull the back, and that is because the postural muscles in your back, they aren't able to regulate that stretch and measure that tension as much, which is really interesting. So I guess my advice would be, if you're a woman who menstruates normally, I would say that if you are feeling differences throughout your cycle, you're not alone, and that it does have a big effect. Towards when you're about to menstruate, what I would say is just be aware that you may be a bit more flexible and flexible towards that point. And
would you say back off a little bit?
Yeah, I would. Yeah.
Is it the week before we're talking? Or?
Yeah, the week before. Just be mindful that perhaps, like if you've never done an overhead movement before that's quite risky, then probably save it till after you've finished menstruating. Really interesting.
Something I'll throw in there, because obviously it's something I learned a long while ago, is the week before as well. Like I'm sure you'll help me out with it, but you feel like you're more hungry, and that's something that we learn, to add to that sort of thing. And it's actually then because your body's working harder, isn't it? So actually you need to feed more. That doesn't mean eat everything, eat junk food, but it's just eat that little bit more than you normally would, only like a couple of 100 calories more. But again, that will also help with what you're saying, won't it? Like to protect yourself around that period of time.
I'll just say one other little nugget as well, that when you're about to menstruate, the womb will actually expand against the sacrum and the back, and so that is why you feel a lot of back pain around that. So yeah, there's actually a reason to why you've got some pain. So.
But that doesn't mean you can use this excuse, it means you can work around it.
Yeah, modify.
No, Kelly, it's awesome, and obviously, other than the other questions anyway, thanks for the last one. It's something I can't really elaborate on that much. But guys, I hope you all enjoyed that. Kelly, where can these find more of you, and what can you do to help them?
Yes, so you can find me on most social media platforms, Instagram, Perform Mobility, all one word, Kelly Bramhald, that's my personal page as well, and email or WhatsApp. And
I will put all the information on the link anyway. But Kelly, thanks a lot.
Thanks a lot.